Hi. So welcome to my first video. This is something I've always wanted to do, but I kind of never really did it because I was always really shy of being on camera, and I didn't really like the way I sounded on camera or looking back at the videos. But I finally made the decision after a lot of years to finally make this YouTube channel and actually make the videos and good content. There's two main reasons, really. The first one and the most important is to help people. A lot of you guys that already know me, I really try to help everyone with all my knowledge that I learn along the way. And through all the forums and the Facebook pages, I'm always one of the guys there that are looking to help someone. I've made a lot of mistakes in the 10 years since I started this build, and I'm trying to make sure that some people that are now starting or beginning or in the process of their build avoid making the same mistakes I did. Growing up, my dad had a paint and body shop, so that's kind of where I got a lot of hands-on automotive knowledge, but I really didn't know anything about performance. My dad had a non-turbo Mark III Supra at the time. It was manual, and I thought that 180 horsepower that thing was moving. From there, that car I always wanted it to be mine, and eventually, I made the move to put a turbo engine in it with my dad, and then it's just gotten kind of out of hand. Now I'm an engineer. I put myself through school, and I do all the work now on my car myself, most of it. From the paint, the body, some of the wiring, building the engine you see behind me, and even I've taught myself how to TIG weld. So I've had a lot of blow-ups, a lot of problems, a lot of broken parts, but I've tried to make sure I learned every step of the way. And the second reason is to kind of look back and have a documentation of the build I've done, the hard work we put in, the humble beginnings, and where I get to in the future, and to kind of document all the friends we make in the car scene. Now, behind me you'll see the engine. So this is something I've worked really hard on, and we're kind of going to go over a couple things in this video. We're going to go over the build and the goals for the car, and kind of you'll see some pictures and compilations of what I have of where the car's been and the progress it's made. And then one thing I just want to say and you'll notice is I consider myself a perfectionist, so I try to make this engine or anything I work on perfect and like a piece of art. And you'll notice that when you see the engine some more. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to get into a couple of the modifications on this engine and discuss a couple of the choices and why I chose each one. So the first thing here is these drift motion pulleys. They're all black. I was trying to keep the really blacked out theme. So there's the power steering, the water pump, and the alternator pulley. And then another new mod is the deep motor intake manifold. These are fairly cheap. It's like $600 I think, and it comes with throttle body and everything. And then this is one of the things that really catches a lot of people's attention. I have some hand painted cherry blossoms that I've had on the car since 2019. And then if you look over here, it's the BC cam gear, and BC's been my sponsor since a really long time, since I kind of started the build, and they hooked it up with the cams and the cam gear and the bolt and everything, and and then Finish Line Factory hooked it up with some fittings. We got a BorgWarner S372. It's a 72-79 turbo, and I'm really hoping I could take that to in excess of 1,000 horsepower. I just welded on the EGT sensors. I'm just hoping to have a little bit more data on the engine this year. And then, I did all this TIG welding. I coated the manifold, and I modified it to have the 60mm wastegate on it. All kind of things I've kind of got like growing pains, making mistakes and having to fix stuff. And then I've decided on this engine I really don't want any rubber hose, so I've been bending, and a lot of failed attempts here of trying to bend this aluminum pipe that I got from Racetronics to put on there for the water line, the coolant line for the back of the head. So now it's fairly finished. It just needs 2 more 90-degree fittings, and then it'll be all right. And then the next really big thing is, as I'm probably sure you saw in the background, the Tremec box back there is, I'm now mating this to the Granus T56 kit. So hopefully all this power can transfer through there, no problem. The next thing is kind of just a compilation of some photos. Kind of, for anyone that doesn't know the car. So this is the car I call Andrea the Supra. And I've had it, well, it was my dad's first, but for me, I've been building it for 10 years now. So I'm 29 now, and I believe I started when I was 18. So I took the car originally from a non-running 7M non-turbo, and from there we found a car in the auction on Copart, and I bought it for the interior really, but I locked out. It ended up having like a complete JL audio system. It had a Garrett turbo, AEM version 1, RC injectors. It just had so many parts that I didn't expect. I didn't know anything about performance at that point in time, so I ended up blowing it up pretty quick, driving through some detonation and melting a piston. And then from there, I was working at Pettit Racing, working on rotaries, RX-7s, RX-2s, RX-8s, and I slowly saved up money and bought a 1.5jz Vvti. From there, we worked on it every night, a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's when I went single turbo. I bought a China manifold. I didn't have much money, so I bought whatever I could afford. It didn't fit good, and it was just a lot of growing pains. But we got the engine in, and I was super happy. So we started to work on the body of the car, get it ready for paint. I got some Volk GTCs, and then here you can see it's in the paint booth, getting some base coat down before we put a gold mid coat, and out of the booth reassembly and the final product. So then from there, once we got the 1J in and we started piecing it together, I was really happy. I was making, almost 500 horsepower on 93 pump gas, and Aerolet TPS, he tuned it, dynoed it. It was good to go. It was running really good. I was very happy with it. Then we started to add some things, flex fuel, more and more things, and I ended up breaking it. I shot a rod through the block at about 700 horsepower. And then from there, we're kind of where we at now. I rebuilt it again, ran it again, broke it. And so we pulled the engine out. I got the 2JZ GE bottom end, and then I had the machine shop drill the oil galleys, billet mains, ARP main studs, 625 head studs, the heads ported, the heads polished, shimless buckets, BC272 cams, all those things needed to make the 4-digit horsepower number I'm looking for. So hopefully you guys stay tuned. I'll show you some more things I'm doing with the car. The next step is really to shave the engine bay, repaint it, do some lines, some wiring, a lot of hard lines for the boost, for the MAC valve, all the vacuum lines. And I'm gonna try to document as much of it as I can and really show you guys, especially with my paint and body background, some tips and tricks of how to get things done on your own without too much tools and relatively cheap, and have really good outcomes from doing those things yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for staying here and watching the long video. It's my first one, so I'll get better at the editing and stuff like that. And just to leave you guys with a little something, I have a couple videos of the car two-stepping.